So charities, this is kind of a bit of the heart of things. So registering as a charity can be a reasonably simple process. You need to register with Charity Services, which is part of the Department of Internal Affairs. The Charities Services kind of does two main things. It registers and monitors charities, and it provides actually education and support to the charitable sector.
So just to cover that, means it's a two-step process: incorporating. Then, if your group is there for a charitable purpose, and that's education, advancement of religion, relief of poverty, or some other benefit to society, and you are wanting to receive the tax exemptions, which is our last step, you need to register either your charitable trust, which already exists, or your incorporated society that already exists. There's a further registration process before you can get the tax exempt status. Okay, and so the 2005 Charities Act and Charity Services DIA, it has a scrutinising role, not only maintaining a register of over somewhere between 25 and 30,000 registered charities. It will look at the ongoing activities of the organisations to ensure that they remain charitable. So it's not just to register, it is actually keeping an eye on what the charitable sector is doing with organisations that set out to further charitable purposes stay on track.
And there's a few things they'll kind of look at as well when you come to register. They'll look at whether the name is suitable, so whether it's not offensive, whether it's not likely to mislead anybody, and that's where the purposes are also going to be really key. And those purposes are either going to be in the trust deed, or they're going to be in the rules of an incorporated society. So that's why it's really important to get it right at the first step. So when you come to actually register, you're going to be able to do so reasonably smoothly. And yeah, officers will also need to be qualified under the terms of the Charities Act, which is very similar to the requirements for a director, not an undischarged bankrupt, not under 16, and no dishonesty offences. There are a few more kind of minor things, but those are the main points there. So that brings us to the meat of it, which is charitable purpose. So as Andrew set out, there's a few purposes that can be considered charitable: relief of poverty, advancement of education, advancement of religion, and anything else that benefits the community. So when it comes to sporting organisations, often you can get away with going under the advancement of education side of things.
Yeah. Look, actually, amateur sports in and of themselves is usually not a charitable purpose, but if the purpose for which your, say, sports or cultural group exists is to, say, provide a societal benefit to part of the community over and above, so sport educates. Sport may benefit, say, underprivileged youth, that sort of thing. So you can be a charity. However, there are tax exemptions for pure sporting groups, which are not outlining any other purpose other than that they engage in amateur sports.
Yeah, and the main point as well is that an organisation's main purpose needs to be charitable, but that doesn't stop an organisation from having kind of other purposes, as long as they're secondary to your main charitable purpose. So, as long as you can show that your main goal is the advancement of education, you might be able to get away with doing some other, not expressly charitable kind of things. But yeah, as long as that main goal is the main goal, and those secondary purposes aren't overriding that goal. So administrative responsibilities will come with being registered as a charity, very similar to being an incorporated society. They need to file an annual return and financial statements with Charity Services, and they need to notify Charity Services of any changes.
So anytime there's a new, say, trustee appointed, or also members of management or executive committees, those people, their details needs to be recorded on the charities register. So you'll see on the register appearing the latest financial returns, who's involved. And so there's quite a lot of transparency around registered charities so that the public can see who's involved and exactly how much money a charitable organisation that's registered is generating. So it's part of the purpose of the Charities Act is to not only monitor, but provide transparency for organisations which receive a substantial tax exemption benefit that, say, companies or individuals don't enjoy. So there's a lot of detail that goes up there about your organisation if you are, in fact, a registered charity.
Including like the rules and the trust deed. So all that.
It'll already be up there too,
Yeah.
because it's also, it'll be there twice. It'll be when you register, it'll also show up on the Charity Services website too.
Right. So tax exemption is obviously a big part of being a charity. So once you are registered, so there's that process. First you incorporate, then you register, and then you would go to IRD to seek tax exempt status. But you don't actually need to apply. It kind of will happen automatically through the charity service, who will automatically notify IRD when a group registers or deregisters with them. But you might still need to contact IRD relating up to other issues. If you're employing people, might be issues with PAYE. If things are being sold, there's GST as a separate issue. So always don't just discount IRD. It might still be something that you need to kind of keep an eye on.